Hey guys, this is my CBR600 F3 from 1996. I picked it up from my dad's friend for pretty cheap. It's different from the thumbnail because I actually deleted most of the footage off my GoPro, which I got it running. I cut off the back end. I broke the clutch accidentally off this because I was adjusting it way too much, so I need to get a new clutch cable. And I took off the dash. I mean, it was full stock pretty much, but the one problem I had was it actually didn't run very well. So it would idle kind of fine. It would like try to die, so I'd like adjust the idle speed. I would make sure the choke was all the way out. But yeah, it didn't run right. I would tip the bike onto the right side, it would die. So I thought it was like an air problem, or maybe one of the floats were stuck. I don't have a lot of experience working on carbs, so I was just going in, diving in, looking on forums, see what's wrong with it. And the problem was the carb boots right here. They had small holes in them, and then one of them actually on the right side, where every time I leaned it over on the right side, it had a huge crack through the whole thing. So I'm pretty sure that's why it was dying. I also couldn't start the bike with like the throttle on at all, so I was guessing it was getting too much air. So I think that was the problem, and I put it back on. Still didn't run right, so I bought a new carb off of eBay for like 80 bucks. Swapped out the jettings off the old carb right there, put them on this new carb because it does have an aftermarket exhaust on it, so I had to jet it like the same way. And then yeah, it runs fine now. I'll show at the end of the video it running. But some of the other things I've done is I've cleaned up the throttle return, the spring in there. I had to sand off the bar right here so the throttle would actually snap back fine, because it used to just stay stuck. Lube the cable in there, and I got a new battery because the old battery just couldn't keep a charge at all. I checked the stator and it's fine. It's recharging it. I cut off this back end. When I get a welder, I don't have enough money right now to afford one. I'll end up cutting off this back end, raising it up a little so it actually be flush with the rear fender right here. This is actually a rear fender off a 2011 CBR600, the bike I have over here. I just had leftover fairings when I swapped the fairings out on this one. So it's going to be all black. And in this video, I'm going to be fixing this because it gets stuck. So it's an easy fix. You just take it off and you get a Q-tip and a toothpick and some electrical lube, and you can clean it out, get all the gunk out. I had the same problem on that bike a couple times, so it's an easy fix. It's usually when the bike is left outside, it just builds up, you know, just a bunch of gunk. That's why you should always store your bikes inside, because there's a lot of stuff that's exposed. The other thing I want to do is take off this, repaint it, sand it down. I actually have never painted plastic before, so it's going to be new to me. I'm going to take this to a shop and have them do it. I'm going to match the color of this back one, and then I'm going to put a 2011 CBR600 seat on this. But it's going to be half-ass right now in the back because I don't have a welder, but I'll end up making another video of it like all welded up nice and it looks good. But for now, I'm going to be pretty much focusing on the front. So I do have this light right here. It's a Streetfighter light I just ordered off of eBay. It's a cheap one. It was $30. I plugged in the turn signals and those work. I'm actually going to split the wire for the headlight and see if that works fine. The colors are the same, so hopefully it works well. And I'm going to just do that today, and I'll be back with you guys in a second. Alright, so just plugged in the wires. Just did a really shitty half-ass job right now, except on these. These already had the ports on them, but I'm going to do the same thing for that. I'm just going to go hardware store, pick up some do it the right way, or I might solder it. I don't know if I could find the solder. Solder it, put electrical tape on it, make it good, because it looks really shitty right now. All I did was splice the wires and then taps them. You can see the plug up right there on the ground and the plug over there. Just hardwired it. Same for the turn signals, are just plug and play. So you could use the other wires. I mean, they're not color coded like these are, but you'll figure it out. See, orange with one of the oranges. I don't know. I plugged in the other orange, it just stayed solid. But here you go. Let me show you. Turn on. So that's low beam. I mean, that's high beam. You could kind of see it in there, how it's on the highlight. And you turn it down, now it's on the low right. Let's see if I can. I mean, it doesn't seem like a difference, but it is on the street. Like, yeah, it's on dark, so I can't show you guys. But, and then here's the turn signal. I only got the right side attached right now. It's blinking really fast. I don't know if I have to put a repeater in there or something. Don't have the other side plugged in, so I can't show you guys that side, but pretty much I'm gonna mount it right here, clean up the harness. And I don't know, hold on, give me a second. Turn that off. You see how it's like really sticky? Let's turn that off so I don't drain the battery. I'm wondering if I get one of those digital tacks, if I can just splice a wire in here, because I have the manual for the bike and I know exactly where the tachometer gauge goes into here, like which wire it is. I don't know if I could like immediately splice it through one of these wires and it would work. It probably would work, but I don't know. I really don't want to take a chance of taking this off, because I actually still I just plug in the old gauge to like dial in the tachometer to make sure that the bike, you know, it's running right. Like here's a cold start, if it even starts. Is the gas on? Yeah. Cold start. I'm not gonna rev it because it's cold, but idle's fine. I mean, it's got like little surges in there, but that's just a carbureted bike for you. Yeah. Needs to warm up. When it warms up, it's really responsive. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if I change out that fuel pump, it did loads of difference. But yeah, it's gonna look pretty badass. I'm done with it. I mean, it didn't even idle like this before. Probably need a new pilot jettings, but yeah, it just needs to warm up. I honestly don't know if it's like misfiring or not. I mean, I'm not a mechanic. All I did was take off the carbon and put on new jettings, pretty much. But I know when it's warm, it fucking rips. I mean, I broke this clutch over off because it was just so worn out in there. It was fraying. So I was like, whatever. It's like $8 on eBay. I mean, it's better to have it done now than, you know, when I'm riding up the road. But I'll be back and I'll show you guys how to clean this. Alright, a couple days later, I've got the reflector tapes in the mail. They're only $9.99 off Amazon. They're pretty sticky. I actually need to run over to the hardware store and pick up some more. I'm just gonna pick up some green tape and finish it off, because all the rims have this little like 1-inch gap that the tape wasn't able to get to, because it only came in with 16 in the pack, and you need pretty much 4 3-inch rim, but I overlapped them, so a little short at the end. Anyways, I've got the brackets mounted for the light. I actually am gonna make a couple separate brackets that are gonna be connected into here, right here, that pop out this way, and it's gonna connect to the top of the light, because it will vibrate with only 2 connectors like this. So I want it to like be really sturdy on there. Other thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna take the gas tank off, replace this. This is the fuel pump, and I don't think it's running right, because it's like ticking, like, I don't know, it's making some weird noises. So I got a replacement up there on top of the refrigerator. gonna take this off to unstick this so it's not all sticky and movie. It's pretty easy to do. All you're gonna want to do is take off these 2 screws underneath here. They're Phillips screws, and I'll be right back when I do that. The 2 bolts are unscrewed. You also need to take off the clutch perch because it's gonna get in the way when you're gonna lift this up. You're gonna lift it up like so. Make sure you don't bend any wiring. Just pull this back. And then what you're going to need to do is pop off that little cable right there, which is your choke cable. And it should just pop off. You're going to want to angle it downwards, and then there we go. And make sure not to snap this or break it, because you also don't want to fray this at all, so make sure you take it off cleanly. It's also a good idea to shoot some cable lube down in there for running the maintenance, you know. And what you're gonna do in here is we're gonna unscrew this bolt right here, and we're gonna take all this gunk off. You can't really see it, but there's a lot of gunk up in here. It's mostly on the bottom part where it swivels right here. Let's see. You see how it's like hard to push over? Yeah, so it's on that bottom part right there. You're gonna need to take that off and dunk it in some WD-40 and just do that. I'll be right back when I got that off. And all bikes are the same from Honda anyways. They're gonna have this little stem right here that pops out with a little screw. The only difference between this bike and the newer bikes is it has that extra choke cable. Now this is what it looks like when it's off. You just want to get a flathead, scrub this off, spray some lubricant in there, scrub it off that way. Then you're going to want to do the same thing on this side right there. And I'll be right back when I've done that and I've replaced it back in there, and I'll show you guys how much smoother it's going to be. Way better than before. Clutch cable is pretty smooth too. Yep. I'm going to need to still tighten this down. It's still a little wobbly. I also got a new, I mean, this was the choke cable. The clutch cable came in the mail a couple days ago. I put that on. This thing is butterly smooth. I sprayed a shit ton of lubricant down there and make sure this thing's not going to fray. And yeah. And then to end off the episode, I am going to change this out, which is really easy to do. It's just a 2-pin, I think, that goes directly to the battery. Just a plug and play installation. All you have to do is take off these hose clamps, put this on, and I don't know if this comes off, so I could strap it down to these right here. I think it's actually broken off, so I'll have to make something there to strap it in there so it's not like this. But yeah, I'll be right back when I've done that, and I should be able to end off the episode. Alright, so here's the old pump, and it was a pretty easy install, and here is the new pump. All you have to do is take off these 2 and plug it right in. It's a 2-pin connection right into the positive side, and that should fix my problem. The kit I bought had the filter as well within it, but I'm gonna leave that filter in there. It's just too hard to get to right now, and I think just the new pump itself will make it run much better. Can't start the bike though because the key, the ignition switch isn't working. So ordered a new one, and I'm definitely positive that it's the ignition switch, not the fuse, because I put in multiple fuses in there to make sure it wasn't that, and it's definitely the switch itself. It's like has a bad connection. I actually took off the plastic piece at the bottom of it, and the wiring was like all janky. I think it was an aftermarket one, and it was just like a really cheap one. So I bought one off of Amazon for 40 bucks, so it should be here any day now. Put that on, and yeah, should fire right up. But for now, I am gonna go, and we'll be back at part 2.